Did you expect me to say a few words? Yes. I want to welcome you all here, of course. The next time we have a party, I promise to give you all a month or two notice. It was very uncivilized for me to plan this so suddenly, but it all occurred very spontaneously. So thank you very much for coming. But there's a good side to planning this sort of last-minute planning. It brought out my flexible side. And my flexible side has been lying dormant in the inner recesses somewhere in my temporal lobe, just waiting to surface on a day like today. My granddaughter Laura has said one of the best, this is Laura, Barbara and Fred's daughter, has said one of the best reasons to celebrate an occasion is not only to celebrate the occasion itself, but to bring family and friends together in the same time at the same place. And so that indeed is a good reason for us to be here today. Now life clearly is uncertain, filled with unexpected joys and unforeseen vicissitudes. Now I'll spare you the platitudes, but actually we all know platitudes have a lot of truth in them. Some people have asked me where Marvin and Helen are, and on Thursday, Helen called to say Marv was in intensive care with an injury, a water injury, and in and out of consciousness. And he's doing very well, she said. She called yesterday to say he's doing very well. And since she's a doctor and her voice sounded relieved, I believe he's doing very well. And then Vic just told me that he is in rehab, for those of you who've asked about him. And a full recovery is expected eventually. But another point to this is what is the point of all of this? It's beloved family and friends, new and old, good fellowship, camaraderie that mitigate against life's uncertainties. It's all of you, our family, our friends, new and old, that's one of the life's greatest pleasures, life's greatest treasures. It gives us all the life force, the vitality, the raison d'etre. In this room are friends we've known over 50 years, many over 40, 30, 35 years. And some of you are about 20 years, and all of you know who you are, but there are also some newer friends here. So because we have some newer friends here, I'd like to take a moment just to point out our family members. Now, what I'd really love to do is tell each one of you about each of you and tell all your virtues and your weaknesses. But the restaurant would show me the exit and they deny my re-entry privileges. So I'm just going to say who they are and ask if their back is turned just to stand up and wave so you'll know who people are. I'll start at my left, Laura, our granddaughter Laura, and she's our daughter Barbara and Fred's daughter. Our grandson Jason, Scott and Diane's son, his girlfriend Emily, who's almost part of the family, Jake, who's Stacy's boyfriend, almost part of the family, our granddaughter Stacy. If you just stand up so they know who you are, well, no one has to stand up. This is Ruth, who we usually end up sitting her up and down. Remember the last time there was a family occasion, people were moving you up and down a million times. It's good that you forgot. George, our in-law George and Ruth, our daughter-in-law Diane. You don't have to. Just our nephew Steve.
That's me, I'll shoot myself. Okay.
Our son Scott, our daughter Barbara, our niece Stacy. This is the other Stacy with the E, that's the Stacy without the E. And you know this guy here.
Yeah. Woo! Woo!
Well, of course you do know Vic, so I'm only going to say one thing about him, because you know about him.
In 55 years, just one?
Well, you know, again, the restaurant has its tolerance limit. I want to tell you that in 55 years, I do not remember having a single conversation with him that was ever boring. I mean it, really. His mind and his interests continue to soar. Of course, when he comes to sleep at 1 or 1:30 or 2 a.m. and says, "Myrna," and I'm sound asleep, "Myrna, are you awake?" Do you want to hear my latest theory about why the dinosaurs did not repopulate after their original destruction? This really happened. My answer is, well, I am awake now, but since the dinosaurs are not in imminent resurgence, right? There's no resurgence is imminent. Can it wait to the morning? But sometimes we really do talk in the middle of the night for an hour or two. Why not? I don't get up for work anymore at 6:30. Well, again, I want to thank you all for coming, for sharing this occasion with us, for meeting one another, and for being with us. I'm so happy to see each and every one of you.
Myrna and Vic,
Thank you.
I hope we meet again, maybe here for the 75th year.
Well, it's very hard to follow that, but I'll try. 55 years ago, Myrna and I opened the Sharing of Our Lives book together. When I first saw her across the room at a dance 55 years ago and asked her to dance, I knew that she was going to be someone special in my life. Our Sharing of Our Lives book together contains pages of going ice skating, spending time at the ocean, woods, mountains, national parks, honeymooning at the Laurentian Mountains in Canada, reading poetry when I was in the Army and she worked at Aberdeen Proving Ground, visiting sites in Washington, D.C. for the first time, driving cross-country to California for a job, seeing the national parks together, work and school followed, as well as vacations to Hawaii, having two wonderful children, Scott and Barbara. Our family expands with two extraordinary people, Fred and Diane, becoming part of the family. Our family even expands further with 5 wonderful grandchildren joining the family. Family vacations spent together, dinners with friends and going downtown to the theater, family holidays spent together sharing food, jokes, stories, touch football, ping pong, and basketball, going to Laker, UCLA, and USC basketball and football games, going back to learning other fields, being part of the Plato Society. Although the years have caught up with us and affected our health and what we can do physically, the Sharing of Our Lives book is not closed. I expect to spend many years loving and being with Myrna, my family, and friends. It brings us great happiness to be able to share our 55th anniversary with all of you. Thank you for coming here.
Thank you.
Victor, tell us about the dinosaurs.
I'll think of something else.
Are they coming back?
I'm going to interrupt for just 1 second. We're going to have another speech, but I'm Shannon. I work here at the restaurant. And these are very special people for us. They come in and join us on a regular basis, and we very much appreciate them and wanted to wish them a very fantastic 55th anniversary. We hope they're back for their 75th. I did do one recently this year. I would like to do another one.
Thank you.
55th.
Thank you.
For you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to Grandma and Grandpa. Happy anniversary to you.
Sergey, do you want to hire these singers?
All right. 55 years. My parents were married in 1954.
The same year that Marilyn Monroe married Joe DiMaggio. Roger Bannister ran a sub 4-minute mile. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose to 382 points. The price of a gallon of gasoline was 21 cents, and On the Waterfront won the Oscar for Picture of the Year. But more importantly, and much more relevant to all of us here today in this room, my mother and father were married. A lot's happened in the 55 years. My parents moved from New York to California. They finished school, got jobs, started a family, and their children got married, and then 5 spectacular grandchildren. I can speak to the last 50 years of their marriage. Many happy memories and lots of love and support, family dinners, fun family vacations, plays, lessons of just about anything imaginable. As you heard earlier, football games with my father, my mother, and Stacy doing aerobics together vigorously in Hawaii, and my parents cheering at just about every dance recital for Stacy and every baseball game, soccer game for Jason, and many, many more memories. My parents' life lessons have really come from them leading by example. What they have taught us is love unconditionally, family and friends come first, others before self, care about those less fortunate than you, have fun, try to get a job where you help others, respect everyone regardless of position and stature, be curious, even about dinosaurs, and through hard work, you can make a difference in your own lives, in your family, your friends, and so on. Our house was always filled with love, joy, and support. My mom and dad were always there for us in good times and in bad times. Both my parents worked very hard, both professionally and personally, so that their children could live better lives than they lived when they were growing up. We could have not have asked for any more. In summary, I feel extremely fortunate and blessed to have both of them as my parents. You could not have asked for any better parents in the entire world. We look forward to celebrating many more anniversaries with them and all of you as well. And Mom and Dad, I love you.
My turn. All right. Okay. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I don't know many of you by face, but I know a lot of you by name because Grandma and Grandpa speak very highly about all of you, so it's good to see you. Thanks for coming. Grandma and Grandpa, happy 55th anniversary. I am honored to be here and celebrate the special occasion with you. Both of you mean so much to me, I really don't know where to start. If I were to stand here and say all the things I loved about you, we'd be here all night, and like Grandma said, we don't want to get kicked out of the restaurant, so I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. Grandma, I think I can speak on behalf of all the grandkids when I say your dog face is beyond priceless. People, if you haven't seen this, you're missing out. It's a little bit like that.
But better.
But better.
Should we have her do it?
I won't make her do it now, but she has to do it for you. Life won't be complete. Okay. You always know how to cheer us up. And Grandma, you have so many good qualities. You're so funny, kind, one of the most generous people I know. And you're also so extremely intelligent. I can't say I know too many people who have read the dictionary for fun. Grandpa, I aspire to be as successful as you've been in your life. You are so intelligent and modest at the same time, and I really admire that. I have learned so much from you. Both of you are so kind, caring, and intelligent, and I would be blessed to become half of the grandparents that you have been to me. I love you beyond words can explain, and congratulations on 55 years. May there be 55 more. I love you so much, and I'd like to make a toast to love, happiness, and good health for another 55 years.
Thank you, that's beautiful.
Hello everyone, thank you Laura. I'm Jason, their first grandchild. And it's an honor to be here at the Napa Valley Grill. I've been here many times with my grandparents. It's one of 3 restaurants. They basically have been keeping in business for years. Valley Grill, the Gardens across the street, and Palomino's down the street. And they're huge fans of this triangle of restaurants. And that's the one thing I love about my grandparents. They're old school, simple folk. And when they find something that they like, they stick with it. For example, they discovered the west side of Los Angeles over 50 years ago and haven't left since. They were huge fans of the Lakers during the Showtime era with Magic Johnson and James Worthy, and are still avid fans today. They discovered extension courses at UCLA called the Plato Society about 15 years ago, and are still enrolled today. And by the way, I just recently found out that at the Plato Society, you guys don't spend every single class constructing animals and other arts and crafts projects out of a clay-like modeling structure, primarily designed for children. So that shows great commitment. Anyways, what I was saying, you guys are simple, humble folks. You could have an invigorating double-date discussion with Barack and Michelle Obama just as easily as with a pair of strangers in a checkout line. And you would treat each with the same respect, except you'd probably exclude Mr. President while addressing the strangers. And you have shown the ability to adapt to nearly every situation that comes your way in 55 years. Grandpa, I admire your entrepreneurial spirit. You created your own opportunities throughout your whole life, pushing away a stable career as a dress cutter in the Bronx. It was encouraged by your whole family. And clearly, because of this decision to become an engineer and then to take a job as a professor and begin Strat, these decisions have embodied you and have created a better life for you, your family, and have helped you contribute to society. I've been told that we have a lot in common, too. We both have a tendency to be late and to wander off aimlessly in various situations. But on the positives, we're both early adopters on things like iPhones and the latest technology. So I appreciate you influencing me in that respect. Grandma, your empathy and ability to show others you're listening and that you truly care is something that I've always found to be remarkable in you. But something not a lot of people may know, because of her humble nature, is that if you walk into the USC Law School, which I've done as I went to USC, you can see her name mounted on the wall, honored for her graduating class. And one thing that I noticed, I saw a pattern as soon as I walked in there. She was one of maybe 3 women who had their name mounted on the wall, and along with maybe 100 or so men. So that is something I think we can all admire. Plus, I hear that today she's one of the most popular girls at the Westwood Horizons. That is probably because everyone knows that when she's around, things just seem better. But the reason we're all here is not because of your individual accomplishments, but because of your accomplishments as a couple. A power couple, even. As you may know, many of the Hollywood power couples have conjoined names. For example, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie became Brangelina. So I'm going to be the first person today to brand your name as Merntor. Well, that may sound like a brand new Japanese robot. Upon further review, it sounds closer to mentor. And that is what you've been for me throughout my whole life. You've been great mentors and grandparents, along with my other grandparents, Nana and Poppy. And you've created a beautiful family, a son and daughter, which led to 5 loving grandchildren, and including me, so thank you for allowing me to be on Earth. I like to conclude with what I value most about my relationship with my grandparents. It was always the little things in life, from the time I was a little kid, talking about things like satellites or planets with my grandpa, or politics with my grandma, talking about faraway places like Israel or Spain, or just simple laughs about things like bad communication between people. Making rhymes to my 5th grade presidential speech. So those were the small moments when I was a young boy that I'll always remember. So thank you, and I love you.
Casey, their other third grandkid here. And I just want to say a couple words about my grandparents. Alright, so ever since I was a very little girl, I have loved spending time with my grandma and grandpa. Together we have created many wonderful, everlasting memories, as well as many cute and funny stories. My grandparents have always been extremely supportive in all of my endeavors, such as attending all 13 of my dance recitals, middle school band concerts, piano concerts, and other school functions. Anybody who has ever attended a children's dance recital knows that sitting through about 3 hours of a dance recital to watch a child for 5 minutes requires serious dedication and not to mention patience. I have also learned many valuable life skills from my grandparents, such as when my grandpa taught me the meaning of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters long before I even stepped inside a classroom. And my grandma taught me the importance and fun of exercising by bringing me to my first aerobics class. I always loved our family vacations together, such as our trips to Hawaii and Canada. One of my grandparents' favorite stories is when my grandpa and I decided to stay back from the rest of the group when we were vacationing in Canada. We both were feeling sleepy and wanted to take a nap, as I was about 3 years old. Although I was generally a sweet and polite little girl, when my grandpa accidentally nudged me awake in the middle of my nap, I gave him a truly angry glare, even long before I knew what the word attitude meant. Even though I feel bad for giving my grandpa an undeserved dirty look, my grandparents always thought that everything I did was just cute. I have so many other great memories, such as holidays, birthdays, and just dinners, even though sometimes I think my grandma is trying to feed me to death. It's okay though, Grandma. I know that you just want us to be happy and fed, and I sure do love desserts. I love that my grandpa and I both now share a deep interest in the environment, and I know that I can always count on him to help me in any of my college studies. My grandma is always so easy to talk to about absolutely anything, with great words of advice and wisdom. Both are incredible role models, professionally and personally, and I admire both of them so much. Congratulations on your 55th anniversary. That is quite an accomplishment and extremely admirable. I hope to one day achieve as much success as both of you have, and I wish both of you many more happy years together. I am extremely blessed to have such wonderful grandparents, and I love you both very much. Congratulations.
We've all been friends of Myrna and Vic for various years. I have been lucky enough to be their friend for about 45 years. And we're here today at this special occasion having this wonderful lunch. I just want to say thank you very much for not forgetting your friends, always being there for us. And Janice will want to add something to that.
Only that we've made so many good friends through knowing you.
Yes.
And we appreciate that so much, all the effort and all of the advice. And thank you for a beautiful event.
Thank you.
I want to say something. Vic and Myrna have been the yin and yang of my life. I was the one climbing mountains and skiing and playing tennis and doing all these crazy things, bicycling 900 miles on trips. And then my husband and I would go to a lovely dinner party in Malibu, and Myrna was an excellent cook. You had the best hors d'oeuvres, and I'll still say that today, I've ever had. And we met all kinds of people at this table, that table, and we made all kinds of interesting friends thanks to you. And when I first came to California, I met Vic and Myrna in 1959. You can forget that year, you guys. Anyway, I came with friends, 2 girls. We quit good jobs in the East, and we came to California. And they knew Lenny Berkowitz, and Lenny took us to your home to visit you. And I told Scott earlier, Lenny said, you got to meet this kid. He's 3 years old, and he's reading. And I thought, oh, this is why I came to California. And he raved about you and your kids, and it has proven to be correct. But I want to thank you because many of the people in this room I know through you, and you certainly steered me in a different direction than having to ski and play tennis and ride bikes. And you were another half of my life. Thank you.
Hi everybody. The
this song has always been one of my favorites, and I thought it was appropriate. It's a Celine Dion song again. Okay, so laugh and cry, live and die. Life is a dream we are dreaming, day by day. Find my way, look for the soul and the meaning. Then you look at me, and I always see what I have been searching for. I'm lost as can be. Then you look at me, and I am not lost anymore. People run, sun to sun, caught in their lives overflowing. Once begun, life goes till it's gone. We have to go where it's going. Then you look at me, and I always see what I have been searching for. Though lost I have been, I find love again, and life just keeps on running, and life just keeps on